Welcome back. In our previous modules we explored cloud computing fundamentals, Google Cloud resource hierarchy, projects, billing, and budget management. Now we're moving into one of the most important services in Google Cloud, Identity and Access Management, IAM. Almost every real-world organization uses IAM every day. Why? Because before anyone can create a virtual machine, access a database, modify storage, or manage billing, the organization must answer two questions. Who is accessing the cloud environment? And what are they allowed to do? IAM helps us answer both. By the end of this module, you'll understand authentication, authorization, users, groups, service accounts, roles, permissions, policies. Let's begin. Why do we need IAM? Imagine a company using Google Cloud. The company has developers, QA engineers, DevOps engineers, managers, security teams. Everyone needs access to cloud resources, but not everyone should have the same permissions. For example, a new developer may need access to view resources. A DevOps engineer may need authority to create infrastructure. A cloud administrator may need full control over billing and security settings. If everyone receives full access, the environment becomes risky and difficult to manage. That's why IAM exists. Understanding authentication. Let's start with the first concept, authentication. Authentication answers the question, who are you? Think about entering a secure office building. Before entering, security verifies your employee ID, your access card, your fingerprint. This process confirms your identity. The same thing happens in Google Cloud. Before a person accesses the Google Cloud Console, Google verifies that the user is legitimate. This process is called authentication. Understanding authorization. After identity verification comes another important step, authorization. Authorization answers the question, what are you allowed to do? Imagine an employee enters an office building. Even though they successfully entered the building, they may not have access to executive meeting rooms, finance systems, data centers. Their access depends on their role. Similarly, in Google Cloud, a user might be allowed to check mark button view resources, but not cross mark delete resources, or check mark button create virtual machines, but not cross mark modify billing information. This is authorization. What is Google Cloud IAM? Google Cloud IAM combines both concepts, authentication and authorization. IAM enables cloud administrators to create identities, define permissions, manage access controls, secure cloud resources. Without IAM, cloud environments would be impossible to manage safely. IAM identities. Google Cloud IAM works with various types of identities. Users. Users represent actual people. Examples: employee at company.com, developer at company.com, manager at company.com. When employees log into Google Cloud, they use user identities. Groups. Managing permissions individually becomes difficult in large organizations. Imagine adding permissions for 500 developers one by one. Instead, organizations create groups. Examples: developers, QA team, DevOps team, managers. Permissions are assigned to the group. Users inherit permissions from the groups they belong to. This greatly simplifies administration. Service accounts. Not all access requests come from humans. Sometimes cloud services need to communicate with each other. For example, a virtual machine may need access to cloud storage. An application may need access to a database. A Kubernetes cluster may need access to monitoring services. In these situations, Google Cloud uses service accounts. A service account is an identity used by applications and services rather than humans. Roles and permissions. Now let's discuss authorization. Google Cloud uses permissions and roles. Permissions. Permissions define specific actions. Examples: view a VM, create a VM, delete a VM, read storage objects, modify storage objects. Permissions are the smallest access units. Roles. Managing individual permissions becomes complicated. Instead, Google Cloud bundles permissions into roles. For example, Viewer. Can view resources. Cannot modify resources. Editor. Can create and modify resources. Cannot manage IAM policies. Owner. Has broad administrative control over the project, including resource management, billing management, IAM administration, custom roles. In many organizations, predefined roles may not meet requirements. For example, a team member needs read access to compute engine, read access to storage, no access to billing. Google Cloud allows administrators to create custom roles. Custom roles contain only the permissions required for a particular job role. This follows an important security principle: least privilege access. Users receive only the permissions necessary to perform their work. Nothing more. IAM policies. Now we have identities, roles. But how do they connect? The answer is IAM policies. Policies create the relationship between identity plus role. For example, developer user, developer role, permissions. When a user logs in, Google Cloud evaluates these policies to determine what actions are allowed. Real-world example. Let's say a company has developer group, role, compute viewer, permissions, view virtual machines, view logs, DevOps group, role, compute admin, permissions, create VMs, delete VMs, modify VMs, finance team, role, billing viewer, permissions, view billing reports, view budget reports. Each user receives exactly the access needed for their job. IAM best practices. Every cloud engineer should follow these IAM principles. Follow least privilege. Grant only the access required. Use groups. Avoid assigning permissions individually whenever possible. Use service accounts. Applications should use service accounts rather than personal credentials. Review permissions regularly. Remove unnecessary access promptly. Separate administrative access. Production environments should have tighter controls than development environments. Practical application. As a cloud engineer, common IAM activities include check mark button creating users, check mark button creating groups, check mark button creating service accounts, check mark button assigning roles, check mark button updating permissions, check mark button auditing access, check mark button removing unused accounts. These activities are part of day-to-day cloud administration. Conclusion. Let's recap. Google Cloud IAM helps secure cloud resources through authentication, verifying identity, authorization, controlling what actions are allowed, key IAM components, users, groups, service accounts, roles, permissions, policies. Together, these components ensure that the right people and services have the right level of access to cloud resources. Understanding IAM is one of the most important skills for every cloud engineer, because security starts with access control. In the next module, we'll begin working with one of the core Google Cloud services and learn how to create and manage virtual machines using Google Compute Engine.